Know thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word of my mouth, and warn them from me.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Middle Tennessee and examining current events from a biblical perspective, this is Bible News Radio with your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harp.
All right. Hello, everybody. Hey, I want to welcome you to today's episode of Bible News Radio. You guys are in for a treat. Yeah, you are. Something magical is going to happen today. Yeah, it will. You know why? Because for the first time in the history of my show, which has been on air 16 years, I am going to have somebody on here talking about magic and Christianity. Like, is it biblical? Are illusions good for you people? Are they, huh? That's my question. Have you ever partaken in a magic show? You ever see David Blaine levitate and all those weird, creepy tricks? Have you ever been super judgmental about people like that? Well, I have, just so you know. Oops. And today, what I can tell you is that I am cracking the mold in Christian media. Yeah, I am. We're like an egg, you know. The yolk is on me. I know, it was bad, right? Anyway, hey, so let me tell you how I found out about today's guest. So I was in a networking group. It was a Christian networking group. And I meet a lot of people. I know a lot of people, you guys. And anyway, I connected with Stephen Wood, who is my guest tonight. We did a one-on-one, and I interrogated the poor guy. I'm like, hey, don't you think this is of the devil? And he actually won me over. He won my heart. He explained to me why he does what he does. And I have to tell you that I invited him on the show so we could have an intellectual discussion, and also so he could do some little, like, sleight of hand stuff, you know. He has been doing magic for about 26 years now. He goes to the Salvation Army Church, and what I can tell you is that I think he will entertain you tonight. Yeah, he will. So do me a favor, go ahead and share this out on every platform you can. I know that most of the platforms are hiding all its Christian content now. So just keep sharing it, because maybe 2 or 3 other people will get to see it as a result. And certainly take the next hour and just enjoy the time that we have together, okay? Because this can be fun. Stephen actually performs magic virtually, and you know, he's done a whole bunch of other fun stuff that we're going to talk to him about. So I hope, you know, do me some favors too and comment. Let me know that you can hear me okay and all that. And I will do my best to acknowledge your comments and stuff throughout the show. So without further ado, people, Stephen Wood is my guest. He's a magician. Yeah, he is. Okay, here he is. Poof, see how we did that? That was amazing, wasn't it?
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Are you?
But you know what? You had the music going, and I was sitting here dancing to the music, so they all missed that aspect of the show, man. Come on.
I know,
Jeez.
but I have it recorded, though.
Man. You what?
I have it recorded.
Oh, you have it recorded? Okay, just take that part of the recording and get rid of it. There's no need to have that evidence out there for my life. I appreciate it.
I could take the clip and throw it over on Instagram later. Mm-hmm. The magic of editing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
the magic of editing. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so here you are on our show. You're a magician, and you're not of the devil.
Nope.
In fact, okay, So tell us a little bit more, okay? I already told everybody the brief life story of yours, that you've been doing magic for 26 years approximately, and you go to the Salvation Army. But who else are you? Your husband, father?
So I am a husband. I am a father. I've been married for almost 20 years. I have a 27-year-old. Well, a 26-year-old will be 27 in July. I have a 13-year-old. I have a granddaughter.
Oh.
So I'm a grandfather. That's right. I'm that old.
Hmm.
Let's see what else can I tell you about me. I actually have a degree in psychology and music. I am a classically trained tuba player. So I play tuba at the Salvation Army in Pasadena. That's my church. I'm in the church brass band, so I'm part of music ministry at my church.
Cool.
Let's see, what else can I tell you? I'm 6'2", blonde hair, blue eyes. I like little tiny rocks. Oh, wait a minute, that would be a different kind of a profile. Never mind. But yeah, let's see, what else can I tell you? Anything else interesting? I do P90X every day. How about that?
I don't have no idea what that is.
Well, if you look up Tony Horton on the internet, you'll find out P90X is an extreme exercise program, and I do that to. So I was diagnosed with diabetes last year, and I do that to keep control of my glucose, eat well. How about this? I'll give you this one.
Okay.
Since I have been in quarantine, I've actually lost 1.5% body fat.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah. So other people are eating more, I'm losing more. So I like that. That's always nice.
I know you're doing the ketogenic diet too, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I also eat keto. I do all of that so I can control my glucose. I want to be around till I'm 100.
Hmm.
That's my goal.
Good.
100 is a good goal.
And just so
Yes.
everybody knows, you're in your are you 50, 51? I forgot. I know you're
I'm 51.
51. Okay. So you're the same age as
Yeah.
me.
Yes, exactly.
That's right.
And you didn't think, and when you first talked to me, you didn't think I was the same age as you. Ha!
Yeah. No, I didn't. I thought you were a lot younger. I did.
Exactly.
Just because it's.
And I get that sometimes, so I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people think I have some people who have. I said, you can't have a granddaughter. I don't believe you. So I have to get out my wallet and show them my ID so they know that I'm actually was born in 1968. I was born in 1968. In fact, I was born on August 26th, 1968. And that was the day of the Democratic convention that was, the riots were going on in Chicago, I believe it was. So my mom told me that she was sitting there holding me in her arms, watching a riot go on at the Democratic convention when I was born.
Wow.
Yeah, there's so much different. There's so much stuff that I'm sure that would be even slightly interesting about my life. I'm not sure if any of it is as interesting as a good discussion about about theology and how it relates to sleight of hand and prestidigitation. But there's a lot of little interesting things about my life. You know, coming up with a virtual show. I make my living doing this. This is the way I make money. And so having had to learn to twist and transform shows from live shows to virtual has been just a very interesting challenge. You've done that. You did start doing that 16 years ago. I started doing that about a month ago. And it helps to have a performer's personality. It helps to be able to reach through the screen to people and to be able to reach beyond the screen. But things I never thought of, like when I perform live, there are bodies in the room. People are there, and so I have their reaction immediate, but also I have the energy that comes from live bodies.
Yep.
So when I'm performing virtually, I actually have to put about two or three times the amount of energy out, so that I project me through that camera to the people and bring them into the show. It's actually the virtual show is actually the most tiring kind of show that I do. And I wouldn't have known that before this. But on top of that, looking at this virtually it's just a different beast. I did a private virtual magic show for a family. And one of the best parts about it was one of them was in St. Louis, one of them was in Texas, one of them was in California, one of them was on the East Coast. So it becomes a thing where the reach of the internet can be much greater. There's a ministry called GTI Hope that I work with. They help educate Southeast Asian women, put them through a 10-month literacy course, because most of the women can't read, they can't write, they don't know how to deal with money. And in doing that, I put on a virtual fundraiser for them 2 weeks ago, and we got people from Florida, people from California, people from the middle of the country. The reach of this, if if the marketing is done correct, is so much larger than doing a birthday party for someone's 55th birthday in Southern California. So there are some real exciting things that come to doing virtual shows. You just can't get any other way. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, you actually just hit on a couple of interesting points that I don't think most people understand unless they do it. You talk about the energy, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's what I can tell you is when people record a podcast and post it versus doing a live show with people that you can talk to, there's way more energy. That's why I love it when my people show up, because I'm like, oh, there's more energy. I can definitely feel it. Just like when you go to a networking meeting in person, there's way
Yep.
more energy than doing it online, like where we met. It's like,
Yeah,
so
I absolutely agree, and it's the way it plays off each other. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, that's
You
okay.
said-
But it's true, because you've hit on something that's absolutely that unless you're a host of a live show interacting with people, you really don't get how important your audience is. So because we do the show, I mean, if I want to talk to myself, I could just record myself. It's no big deal. Look in the mirror. Hi, Stace. Oh, you look great today. Oh gosh, yeah, you do. You look awesome. I mean, what does that
oh,
do for myself? Seriously, not much. But when I'm in front of a camera and I'm talking to you people, then you get it. And when you say hi people back to me, then I know that you're out there. And when your audience begins to mock you and use your language and wear your brand, it's even better, because you're like, oh my gosh, they're wearing the Bible News Radio brand. They're saying people back to you. And they're saying, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Like that echo weird thing that I got going on. I don't even know how I started that. It's part of my charm, apparently. Yeah, it is. Gets old though.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
So yeah.
I would never mock you to your face. Yes, I would.
Yeah, you
yes,
would.
I would.
But anyway, so yeah, so that is exactly what I'm talking about. So you get it.
Oh, I do get it.
I know.
Yes, I do.
Yes,
Yes,
you
I do.
All right, so show us something. Do a trick for us, or an illusion.
Show us something.
Well,
Show us something.
Yes.
Okay, you want me to show you something? You don't want to talk about magic first?
Well, okay. Okay. Well, do you want to talk about it? Because
I would. Well, it's your show. I'm just on it. This is your show. I'm just living in it. So it's really, it's
Okay.
really up to you.
Randall
If
has
you want
to
me
pull.
to do that,
Randall right now has you just your head, so he doesn't see what you're about ready to do. So I don't know, Bareface, you might want to throw him on.
I don't know if you're going to talk about.
I don't know. Okay, so before we talk about it, or let me say this way, how about we talk about it? Are you of the devil?
okay.
Isn't magic, sorcery, and witchcraft? Yeah, there we go.
Okay, that's a good question.
Thank you.
So is magic, MAGIC, sorcery and witchcraft? And the short answer is no. Magic is not. It is sleight of hand. It is not. Now, it's not like it's not trying to call on the power of Satan to do things. Sometimes when I think about magic, and especially from a Christian perspective, I ask people, have you ever seen an object lesson being done in Sunday school? And magic, especially when it's given the right theme, is basically a very, very good object lesson. Now, that object lesson doesn't always have to have a spiritual theme to it. I'm going to show you my 26-year-old son's favorite trick in a little bit. That theme to the trick is my theme, but it also impresses what's important to me. It impresses what's on my heart through the tools that I use as a professional magician, as a professional sleight of hand artist. So I want to say right now, I want to promise everyone who's watching that what you're going to see me do is sleight of hand. It is not MAGICK. It is not the kind of thing that calls on the power of Satan. This is sleight of hand. Now, you may not be able to tell what I'm doing, in other words, what the secret is, but what I'm doing is sleight of hand. There is no MAGICK involved in anything I do. I'm not asking Satan to come down. And I'll even tell you, you were talking about David Blaine.
Mm-hmm.
David Blaine is a sleight of hand artist. He's not doing magic. He is using classic techniques in prestidigitation, legerdemain, and then he's applying certain other techniques that sometimes come into the limits of what you see on TV to give that effect. You'll see also that he has a different presentation. Because he has a different presentation, what he really has is a different motivation. His heart motivation is not the same as mine or as other Christian illusionists who are trying to express the eternal message of Christ crucified. And really, in my show, running through most of my shows is an underlying theme of love, acceptance, and salvation. You're not going to see that from David Blaine. Now, that doesn't mean what he's doing is satanic. In fact, he does cultivate this image, that he wants people to see. He wants people to see him as being this image on TV. But that image on TV has nothing to do with whether, again, he's calling on the power of Satan. In fact, he's not. I say this gently, but what he's trying to do is carve out a niche in the marketplace so that people remember him and want to watch his entertainment. That's really what he's trying to do. And I want to be very careful with people so I don't ruin things. But I will tell you that I know about 99% of how David Blaine does what he does, because again, he's not doing calling the power of Satan kind of thing. It is sleight of hand. It is a secret. It is not the power of Satan. And I said this to you, Stacy, and I'm going to say it now. If someone thinks that what I do is satanic, then Satan has already won. And I hate to say it that way, but I was rereading Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis. And one of the things C.S. Lewis hypothesizes in the Screw Tape Letters is that real deception and real satanic power is not done right now. It's not necessary. It's not here and now most of the time. It's found over a long period of time. That deception happens over our lifetime, and it gets into the way we behave and behavioral patterns. And if you're already convinced that what a magician doing is satanic, then Satan has already won, because the true power of Satan is so much stronger and deeper, and so much more, and just as under the foot of God as anything else. But Satan's power is different. It's not a card trick. It's not sleight of hand. It's true deception that takes you out of your life and takes you to some place that you don't want to go, which is, if I can be so blunt, hell.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So
true.
Okay, so let's see. That was about 8 minutes of blathering on. How did it go?
That went good. Okay, so we're going to put you on full screen so then people can see you. All right, so now you're on full screen so people can see what you're doing. Okay, and people share this out. If you're watching live and you can see this, share this out. So,
first thing I'd like to show you, I talked about different themes. So I am going to show you my 26-year-old son's favorite trick. It's been his favorite trick for a while now, and it's done with a dollar bill. Now, to show you his favorite trick, I'm going to have to show you my favorite bill for any show that I do. So do me a favor, watch the bill. It will never leave your sight, but with a twist and a blow, I will take and turn that bill into my favorite bill for any show that I do. And my favorite bill happens to be a $100 bill.
Okay, you did it. Yeah, you did.
Did you get a good look at that? Did you see that? Do I need to come close to the camera?
Yeah, it was hard to see because.
Okay, let me come close to the camera. Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
I'll get close to the camera. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, so let me talk about this trick for a minute. Because there's a couple of problems with this trick. Okay. Problem number one is that when people see this, greed wins out.
Right.
And what I mean is they'd like to keep the bill like that. The second problem is I'm going to be giving a show in about a week. And if I leave the bill like this, the government is going to come to my door because they consider this counterfeiting. So what I have to do now is show you my 26-year-old's least favorite trick. And I'm going to show you his least favorite trick so that I can stay out of jail and do my show in about a week. So the least favorite trick is if I give that $100 bill a twist and a blow, and I turned it back into the one. Now that may be his least favorite trick, but at least I get to keep my my freedom intact.
Good point.
And that's the point. But that's what with magic, turning a $1 bill into 100.
So there's not there's not $2 there. Like you don't have the $100 bill stuck to that some way.
One of the reasons why I turn it around like this all the time is to let you see the front and the back.
Right.
Here, you can even see the side, so you can see everything on the bill. So that's one of the reasons why I do that. Now, I have to admit, there's another reason why I turned it back to the dollar. It's because the next trick I'm going to do, I want to put a little skin in the game. And if I leave it as 100, that's a little bit too much skin. So here's what I mean by skin in the game, okay?
Okay.
So I am going to promise you right now, Stacy, if this trick does not work, I'm going to mail you this dollar bill. Aren't I generous?
Yeah, you
Aren't
are.
I nice?
You are.
Yeah.
You're so nice.
Now, did you notice that there's been a card out on the table the entire time?
Yeah.
That'll be important in a second, okay?
Okay.
So here's what we're going to do. I am going to take a deck of cards out.
So Randall's
I am going
just so you know, Randall's trying to like make it bigger on the table. So
okay. So what I'm going to do is start dealing cards onto the table. Okay.
Okay.
Now, as I deal them, your job is going to be to say stop anytime you like.
Okay, stop.
Here?
Yep.
Okay, we can keep going. I can go back. Here?
No, that's good.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a little bit more skin in the game. I'm going to do that by marking the place with the dollar bill, and we'll get back to that. Now, I would like to show you the card that's been sitting on the table the whole time. Can you see that?
All right, the 5 of hearts.
Exactly.
Okay.
And let's take a look at where you stopped. Ready?
Uh-huh.
And you stopped at the 5 of hearts.
Okay. So is that a deck of just
Wait. It gets better. It gets better.
Okay.
Remember I said I had some skin in the game, right?
True. Yeah.
Well, let me help you understand what that skin in the game does for me. You ready?
Okay. Okay, so you got 5 of hearts on there.
Wait. It gets better than that. It gets better than that. Yes, it gets better than that. Because not only do I have skin in the game, you've done something pretty amazing.
Yeah, I have.
You see, you stopped at the 5 of hearts, right?
Right.
Let's get that back on the camera.
Okay.
But you know what? If you had stopped me here, or here, or here, or here, or there, or there, or there, or there, this trick wouldn't have worked. If you had stopped me here, or here, or here, or here, if you had stopped me at any place else in this deck, this trick wouldn't have worked. If you take a look, you stopped me at the only place in the deck that made this trick work.
I'm amazing.
Talk about having some skin in the game.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Well, thank you.
So
thank you very much.
Just go like that and make them all 5 of hearts.
But if I did that, it would take away from this lovely picture that we have on. But you know, if we want to go one step further, when it comes to finding out where your life needs to sit as far as God is concerned, this is a good example of that. because the only place that you're going to find that match for your life, and that match that's going to bring you to a saving knowledge of God, is if you put your faith in Christ. No other place but Christ can your eternity be guaranteed. Just something to think about.
True. That's very true.
Yeah, it's very true. And this is a little bit of how you take prestidigitation and put a different message on it. Whether it's a message about my son and his favorite trick, or it's a message about how Christ can save you, and he's the only way to get to heaven. He's the only way to have fellowship with the eternal God that we know and love. Look at this picture right in front of your face of an eternal message that's done just with a deck of cards. That's one of the things that makes me different, because I am not afraid. In fact, I love putting the message of Christ behind the things that I do. And I think it's a very powerful way this is an object lesson in and of itself, an object lesson about Christ and everything else that does not lead to God.
That's very good. So, how does each of the fives represent Christ as 10?
How does each of these fives represent Christ?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So when we're as Christians, well, as people, one of the things that has been talked about as people is that we have a hole in our spiritual self that is looking to be matched by Christ saving us. So this is, for me, this is finding Christ to be our spiritual match. Now I have to say that the object lessons are not always perfect. I'm not one to say that it is. Sometimes so you do some of this for the effect, so that for instance, when I do an hour of gospel magic, here's how I work. I do a half hour of magic, so it's entertainment. It gets people on my side, and then after they're on my side as entertainer, I can now talk to them for a half hour about the gospel and what it really means to be a child of God. So sometimes you're entertaining to get the subconscious permission from the people to be able to tell them about the gospel. So I'm not going to claim that this is the perfect representation, not in any way. And in fact, I will tell you, between you, me, and your listeners, this is the first time that I actually put that meaning to this effect.
Huh.
So it's not a perfect representation, but it is a representation of, if you want to find meaning in your life, if you want to find fellowship with the God of the universe, if you want to be in a place where you're saved, and that when you die, you are going to go to heaven, the only place you can find that is in Christ.
Amen.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. You cannot find that. You can't find it in Muhammad. You can't find it in any other major religion in the world. The difference between Christianity and every other major religion is that Christianity has the one leader of Christianity, Jesus, who claimed to be God and then proved it.
Yeah.
Because he was crucified, and then he was brought back he was resurrected from the dead. It's the only major religion where the leader of our belief is still alive, and he is alive, and he is in heaven, and he's waiting to come back for us. Sorry, I'm starting to preach now. I apologize. Let me get off my preaching stand here.
Yeah, it's okay. I like it.
But thank you, and I actually do too. But this is an imperfect representation of a perfect situation, and I do my best to use what I have to represent things like that. So
how did you get interested in doing magic with cards in particular, and do you do any other forms of magic besides with cards?
Oh yes. So as a kid, I learned a couple of card tricks, but it wasn't anything that I was interested in doing as a living, as a vocation, until I was on a tour with my church brass band, the one that I'm in Pasadena. We were on a trip to Estes Park, Colorado, and I was playing tuba with the band. We were there to be a guest band at a Scottish tattoo. It's like a field show for adults, basically. And the band went to eat at a really expensive Mexican restaurant that I honestly couldn't afford to eat at.
Mm-hmm.
But in this little strip mall in Estes Park, Colorado, there was a magic shop next to the Mexican restaurant. So I went next door to the magic shop, and the magician behind the counter showed me a trick called Wild Card. And for me, watching that trick, it was an instant visual hook. So what I did was I bought the trick, and then I showed it to everybody on the band tour for the rest of the trip. Bugged them. When I got back to California from Estes Park, Colorado, there was a magic shop in Glendale, in Glendale, California, called Russell Lewis's Magic Palace. I went there and bought about $750 worth of stuff. I studied for 9 months, and then I started street performing in Old Town Pasadena. That's how I got my start. And if you notice, I'm a little crazy because I was willing to go out after 8 months street perform on the streets of Old Town Pasadena at a point in time in which on a Friday night it was so busy people basically couldn't walk at that point in time. But that's a little bit of what God created me to be willing to go out there and do that. And as you can see it even translate to this, because 5 minutes ago I was sitting there preaching instead of doing magic. So this is what God has created me to be. He's created me to not only entertain people, but to challenge them as well.
Right. That's cool. That's good.
Thank you.
I just got
Are you getting more than you expected?
Yeah, no, not at all. Hey, I think this is great. So,
Thank you.
So I'm here to announce that Vicky is now out of Facebook jail. It just came through. Vicky was in jail from Facebook. I just have to give that announcement. She's free, everybody. That's funny. Anyway.
Okay, that's good. Yes, it is.
I'm glad she was let out. Okay, so do you have any other tricks that you want to show us? Because I think that's kind of fun, and I don't know how many people. I feel like we're in Facebook and YouTube and Periscope jail because I can't see anybody. But anyway,
do I have? So I have to admit, I only came prepared to do 2 tricks because what I want people to do is come to a couple of virtual shows.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I don't mean to advertise. Should I stop doing that? No, I'm just kidding. I can advertise a little bit.
Of course you should. You should definitely advertise because this is how you make your living, and all your shows have been stopped. And I have to tell you, yesterday I was in a networking meeting. It wasn't in the one we met in, but it was in a different one. And there's a guy who is amazing. I posted his thing on my Facebook page. This guy's amazing. All his live concerts have been canceled. So yes, that's part of the reason we're having you here, because I want people to,
So you understand. So
go.
for those people to understand, when you work within the entertainment industry, especially at the level I'm at, you get a lot of private gigs, and so from March, April, May, June, and even one in July, I had all of my gigs in a 5-month time period either cancel or move 6 months out. So that's 5 months worth of money of living expenses gone in literally a week. There was one day I had 4 people call and cancel, and it was that's always an exciting thing. It puts your faith to the test, to be honest. I mean, do I depend on people hiring me for shows, or do I depend on the Lord? Where is my provision from? Is my provision from the Lord, or is my provision from someplace else?
Yep.
That being said, it's the shows that I'm doing now have a little bit of a different flair to it. Obviously, again, we're talking about being able to interact with people. That's a little different, but they also have another little fling to it. For instance, a week from today at 4:30 Pacific time, so that would be 6:30 for Central, 7:30 for Eastern Standard Time. And if you're in England, you can figure that out yourself. But
Right.
yeah, exactly. I'm going to say 4:30 Pacific time. I will be doing a benefit show for a group called Big Dream Honduras. They're a charity that works off the East Coast, and their mission is to help children in Honduras uh, have better education, learn, just to be able to bring themselves up in a better way. What they're trying to do right now is for a school that they're involved with. They want to raise enough funds to get 5 laptops for the children in the school, so they'll have that as an educational tool. So what we're going to do is magic for a big dream. 4:30 p.m. It will be held on Zoom. You'll see me to be in something like this. It'll be basically in this environment, and it's $30. It's $30 per camera. So, for instance, I had one person ask me, once I get that Zoom link, can I give it to all my friends? No. This is going to be like a virtual theater. Now, that means that if you want all of your friends to see it, invite them over to the house. They can all watch behind the same camera. That's cool. But the idea here is that you're paying $30 for one virtual seat with your camera, and then that money is going to go to benefit the Big Dream Honduras. It's really an exciting way to help a charity raise money. There's not a lot of overhead, obviously. So with no overhead, that means that almost all of the funds raised for the charity goes directly to the charity, and I like that. It's also a little different as far as the show is concerned. I do have, like, if you can think about this, stage manager, kind of like your husband is your stage manager. I will have a stage manager who helps to run the room, and that's important. But imagine being able to take $30, see an hour and 15-minute show, and having fun, being entertained with clean entertainment that's really praising to our Lord. And then not only you're making a difference here, now you're making a difference with children in Honduras. So you get the value of a fantastic show, and knowing that the money is going to go to help children in Honduras.
So how are you going to make money, though?
Oh, I have my ways.
Okay, like turning $1 bills into $100 bills.
Well, that's you say that, and so so let's talk a little bit about that for a moment, okay?
All right, cool.
Because it is cool.
Yeah.
But I can see why people would have questions about what I do for a living.
Sure.
And so there's a magician that I know. His name is Michael Amar, and Michael is I very much enjoy what he does. I've learned a lot from him. And he postulates that if I could really do magic, there are probably only 2 tricks in magic that I would do. One would be turning a 1 into 100 and continually doing that. And the other would be what it was called the miser's dream. That's pulling coins out of the air and putting them in a bucket. Because those 2 tricks are as close to appealing to the greed portion of our psyche as anything. That's why when I talk about greed winning out, I didn't choose that just as a fluke. There's a reason why I chose that. Yep. It's because that does speak to that. So I can understand why when people are looking at magic, why they might think, wow, this has the opportunity to be really negative. So, doing that, using that effect, when you might laugh a little bit about it, but it's true that I have to take very careful steps to make sure that effect doesn't play into greed, but it plays into a larger effect of love and my son and his favorite trick, and keeping the themes in a way that the themes will speak to people and will not be themes that would be negative or satanic.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to do a little bit of a transition into the let's talk about magic and Christianity part. How did I do?
You did good. You did great,
Thank
actually.
You.
And we, believe it or not, this has gone by so fast. So it's like we got like 15 minutes or so, maybe 20 more left of the show. So, um, let's see.
I always
Well,
find that it's good that if the magician leaves the broadcaster speechless, this is a good thing.
actually, that happens very rarely.
I'm aware.
So,
That's what I'm saying. It's a good thing.
okay, so how can we help you then? Aside from, getting your name out there a little bit more, maybe to some people who don't know you, because I personally, like I said, I've interviewed super famous people to people that nobody knows, and my heart's always been for the underdog. Not that you're an underdog, but you know what I'm talking about. It's
Here
been
I come to save the day. Underdog is on his way. All right, that comes from a childhood spent wasted in front of the TV. My
yes,
apologies.
Popeye on Channel 5 on
Yes,
Saturday
yes.
morning. Hmm.
Did you ever watch Hercules on Saturday mornings,
Probably.
where he had the ring and he put the ring up? I watched all of those. Yeah. So you want to know how
Pers-
you can help me?
Personally,
Oh,
Tom Slick was my favorite. No,
okay.
Inch
Well,
High Private Eye was my favorite because I'm
per,
short.
I like Space Ghost myself, and not the Space Ghost talk show that came later. I like the original Space Ghost a lot,
Okay.
and I also like, may give you more insight into me than you want. I like the Super Friends,
Oh
especially the Wonder Twins activate
yeah, yeah.
bang. Yeah, I like that too. So yeah, you're probably getting to know more about me than you ever wanted to. How can you help me?
Yes.
Well, let's see. For one way you can help me is you can have better cue cards so I don't go off on a tangent all the time. No, I'm just kidding. Oh God, I'm dying. All right, it's always fun to die on the internet, so people they know what's happening. Oh yeah. So how can you help me? There's a couple of ways you can help me now. So with the shows that I'm doing to raise money, I do get paid for those.
Okay.
And so it, that in California in LA County, we have 3 more months of stay at home. So I'm not going to have the live show opportunities. So if someone in your audience knows a charity that would like to raise money and there's no overhead to it, it's just a question of advertising it, getting people to come on to have a quality show that will entertain people and give them a little bit more understanding about what their charity does. If you know a charity, have them contact me. This is really a great way to promote charity, promote myself, to help the charity move forward as far as financially,
Mm-hmm.
and to make an event even within these times that does something for a charity. Like for instance, Hallelujah Baskets, they is another group that I'm working with. It's a charity I'm working with. They work out of St. Louis, and the Karen is the owner of Hallelujah Baskets. She does close to 4,000 Easter baskets every year for underprivileged children in St. Louis. But she's at that point in time in her ministry, in her charity, where she needs to take the next step. So creating an event like this for Hallelujah Baskets allows her charity to expand its reach and to grow a little larger in a way that she can handle, and will help her meet the needs and the goals of those kids, as well as will help her meet the goals of what she wants to do with the charity. So with that in mind, someone out there knows a charity that would like to raise money in an original way and think outside the box and inside the magic, have them give me a call. 626-393-6361.
All right. Well, I
go.
actually just wrote down two charities of people that I know lead these charities, and they both assist women in need. So
There's
I
it,
will be making a couple of phone calls for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's
One of them's in
and then,
California, and the other one is in Atlanta, I think.
okay. I would be more than happy to have that discussion with them. If you want to know other ways that people can help me, I don't have the link available right now, but there is a different website. It's called Patreon.com.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know about Patreon?
I do.
Yes. Well, I am a Patreon artist, so they could find me on Patreon and then help support my artistry over like on a month-to-month time period. In fact, that would be a good thing to do for Bible Radio Ministries as well, to help them if they had a Patreon account. People who are watching this right now, that there are expenses that need to be met for Bible Ministries. So perhaps you should find out if Stacy has a Patreon account and be willing to help support the ministry in a very financial way. You know, one of the things that I love about Facebook is that you get a lot of advertisement. But there are times when people will do this. They will press like, and then that's all they'll do. Like is good. So they like it, and maybe they'll even put the post out on Facebook. But when it comes time to getting out their wallet and putting the money down, they don't make the connection between like, post, and financial support. Well, every ministry that I'm aware of, including my own, needs to meet the bills, man. Mm-hmm. So if Bible Radio Ministries blesses the people who are listening right now, and you have a Patreon account, Stacy, it's time for them to think about supporting the ministry in a very practical way.
Yes. Well,
by the way, Stacy, do you notice I'm doing my job? I am doing fundraising in a magic situation. So now people can see exactly what they're getting when they have a fundraising magician helping their charity get a little bit more money.
Yeah. Well, Bible News Radio.
Bible News Radio. Okay. And I'm sure
it's my show.
Let me just go over here and yeah.
Bible Radio Ministries is probably.
They're probably going, wow, we're getting a lot of money right now. Yeah.
No, hey, I gotta tell you something. You want to hear something funny? And I'm just teasing you. Sure. I literally I've had 2 or 3 guests who I've had on promoting their product, and they actually went and promoted another ministry to give to the other ministry while they're on my show. That seems to be a gift of mine.
So can I tell you a story about having me help raise money for you? So yes. I was talking about the GTI Hope show I did. Mm-hmm. And so we had 41 cameras, and the 41 cameras, it helped to raise money for GTI Hope. Well, after the show, so the show was made up of mostly people who had no idea about GTI Hope. There was a birthday party that happened virtually at the show. So there were like 7 cameras of 35 people who were there celebrating this one woman's birthday. Well, after the show, one of the people in the birthday party donated another $125 to GTI. Another person in the show bought a sewing machine to minister to women that GTI ministers to. The sewing machine helps them have a vocation and make money and become a part of the Southeast Asian community. And then 2 days later, they received enough funds to sponsor 30 women through a 10-month literacy course and another sewing machine. So when God is behind what you're doing, you will see his blessings. And they ended up raising close to $1,500 from one virtual magic show.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I mean.
Well, I will tell you that if you really do want to donate to our show, you can go to BibleNewsRadio.com/give and give through PayPal. I don't have a Patreon page. I actually set up one, but we're actually finally, after 16 years, looking to get a nonprofit organization set up. And we just came up with the name. I'm not going to release it yet because I'm not sure yet if it's taken by anybody. But it will not be Bible News Radio Ministries. We're not going to do that. It will be something else having to do with the Bible, people. And it's so funny you should bring sewing up today, because my 86-year-old or 87-year-old neighbor today came to my house to teach this girl how to sew. Yeah, she did.
Wow.
And I did. Between a sewing lesson, a talk with Elmo, and now a talk with you, this day has just been enriched greatly. and I sewed it all by myself with just slight help from my friend. a big, huge neck warmer, filled it with white rice, and I'm looking forward to like heating it up later in my big microwave. If I can get the 16 cups of rice that were put into it, I'll heat it up evenly. We'll find out.
Speaking of sewing, I have a question for you that's probably out of left field.
Okay.
Did you ever watch Doctor Who?
A couple episodes.
Okay, did you ever watch it in like the 80s when Tom Baker, curly hair, long scarf, was the main actor in the series?
Nope.
Okay, well, I'm about to show you a little bit of geekdom.
Okay.
I am a Doctor Who fan. I've been watching Doctor Who since I was 8.
Hmm.
And I have knitted 2 of the scarves from Tom Baker's series of Doctor Who. Those are they are 17 and 18 foot long scarves. That's right. I knit. I'm a knitting magician.
Hey, that's so cool. Actually, you know what? I know a couple of people who were in the Vietnam War who actually took up knitting as a way to relax, and they're men.
Yeah.
True story. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And it is cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. It works a certain portion of your brain you can't work any other way.
Yeah.
And it's like music in that way. Music works another portion of your brain you can't work any other way. So when you said sewing, I just brought up knitting.
Well,
what the heck?
That's pretty. But see, that's cool because I learned how to sew today. I actually learned how to. I really did. I'm not great at it, not yet. I did.
Well, my mom used.
My friend told me the line was crooked, but whatever. And Randall pointed out it was crooked, but whatever. Hey, that's okay. I got it sewed together. That was all that matters. It was, I'll get better. Yeah, I will.
I remember watching my mom work on her sewing machine when I was a kid, and there is a lot to having that skill, to being able to
sew well and create those kinds of things. Now, I have to tell you that right now, my earpiece just went out.
I was going to say, you sound different.
Yeah, I sound farther away. If you'll notice, I actually am upping my voice so you can hear me a little bit more.
You can pick up your earpiece. It's okay. Hey, why don't you do that, and I'll do a little break here, and then you can come back. How's that?
Okay, that works.
People, if you're still there listening, the 5 of you that could tune into this live episode, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. But let me tell you, hey, we have a couple of ways that you can actually help support our show. And I definitely want you to support Stephen Wood because this guy is genuine, as you can see, and he really does have a heart of gold. I mean, seriously, well, maybe not a literal heart of gold, but he's got a heart to serve. And so I did find his Patreon page. If you want to go to Patreon and then look up Stephen Wood, the Magic Man, is creating magic, computers, health, and music. You can go there. You can donate or sign up to be a Patreon there. I am not a Patreon over there yet, but like I said, you can donate to us. And another way, if you'd like to give to us out of your wealth, then, if you don't have Legal Shield yet or identity theft protection, that kind of is my tent making, the magic I do outside of Bible News Radio, and this is such a great product. I mean, it truly is. I actually was talking to somebody today who's going to be coming on our show in a couple of weeks, and they were sharing with me how they've had Legal Shield since it was called prepaid legal, and the lawyer did an amazing thing and ended up getting them $600 more a month from somewhere. I forgot where, but they'll tell it later when they come on the show, because a lawyer got involved and helped them out. And here's the thing. If you don't have your will done, you need to get an advance directive done. You need to get your medical and your financial power of attorney in order. Legal Shield's the best way to do it. Then the other partner product we have is ID Shield. ID Shield rocks. And not only that, but we are now in the business of reputation management. And by the end of May 2020, we are going to probably have the biggest package covering reputation management on the market. Now, if you're like me and you know me, I've talked a lot on this show about how you got these big data brokers that are taking all your public stuff out there And they have all your information out there, and they've compiled it, and they're selling it to people. Okay. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but places like Ben Verified and other places like that, they do all this, and then they sell free information to other people who want to know about you, just so you know. Well, you know what? Our service is going to help you get that taken off, and it will be actually included in the ID Shield benefits. So, yeah, so get in touch with me about that. I know a lot of you already have, but that is another way that you can support Bible News Radio, is by supporting our work outside of Bible News Radio. And I am hoping and praying and ask for your prayers too, that as we get the paperwork rolling for the nonprofit, that you seriously consider donating as a result of that, because it's not cheap to do it. And part of the benefit to us would be that you would get a tax break giving to us, and we would get a tax break and stop paying the government tons of money that we don't have. And then lastly, and certainly not least, many of you guys know our dog Tuggy Bear passed away not too long ago, like 2 weeks ago. Well, he left behind $3,000 in debt for us to pay off. So if you would like to give us a little love gift toward that little thing there, then that would really help us. And then, of course, our house was in a tornado recently, which incurred almost another $1,000 damage. Had nothing to do with anything that we did. And so if you have any extra and you want to help us, hit that too, that would be super, super awesome. And I would really appreciate it. Anything that you can give. And we have such donor, you guys are so generous anyway. But here's the thing I just want to throw out, and in all sincerity. And that is that, look, if you're one of my regular donors, I'm not asking you to give me anything else. I'm actually pleading to those of you who watch our show and never have given us anything for any work that we've done. You're the ones that need to be giving to the show, because you've never given. And really, honestly, that's not fair to me and Randall, right? We show up for you all the time. You tell us how great we are. Some of you have said you're going to give to us, but then you never do. And you know what? I'm just being honest and saying this is the time. If you ever meant that, now is the time to donate to our show. And I'm not trying to make you feel guilty or anything. I'm just being honest. Because, I can tell you, when you say you're going to donate to us and you send me these messages, but then you never do, that really discourages me, especially because you're a Christian telling me it. And that's not cool, you guys. So just consider, what you say, and then support us however you feel led, which I hope is generously. Okay, so that's it. All right, I think Steven's got his earpiece back in, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so Steven, that was very few people heard that. But anyway, so maybe the two people,
I did.
The two people that heard it though, maybe they feel good about themselves now. I don't know. Anyway.
Can I end this with my personal testimony?
Sure, go ahead.
Sweet. All right. So, what I'm going to show you right now is the smallest illusion that I do.
Okay, I might have to
Some
wait.
Some magicians would end with their largest. I am going to end with my smallest. Okay.
All right. Randall's trying to bring you in close.
Well, I just came in close to the camera, so.
Okay.
So.
Is this a sewing trick?
So let me start by saying that love is one of the themes that I talk about in my show. And I've learned about love from a couple of different places. For instance, I am divorced. And as a divorced man, if I learned about love from my divorce, I would learn that love hurts.
Yep.
I would learn that you can't trust people who love you. I would learn that people who love you betray you, and I wouldn't want to be in love. However, I have learned about love from other places. For instance, diabetes. Okay. Mm-hmm. When I was first diagnosed with diabetes, I was terrified of needles. I was a needle phobe. They took the blood out of my body, the phlebotomist did, and I threw up in her office. when my doctor called me into his office on a Tuesday to tell me about it, he said, "You're going to have to take insulin shots right now, today." And I dry heaved on his floor. He told me that I was going to have to go home that Tuesday, and I was going to have to take an insulin shot at 5 p.m. with my dinner. So I went home, put the insulin pen in the refrigerator. At 5 p.m., I made my dinner, went and get the pen out of the refrigerator. I looked at it, put it back in the refrigerator. Did that again at 6, at 7, at 8, at 9. At 9:30, I pulled that needle pen out of the refrigerator and gave myself my first shot. The Sunday after, I was in church, and I prayed to God. I said, "God, I cannot handle this. Please take this away from me." And God said to me in a voice as clear as the one that you're hearing now, he said to me, "No insulin." Now that kind of freaked me because I didn't know exactly what he was talking about. No insulin? The Tuesday afterwards, I'm sitting on the couch that's now right to my left, and I'm giving myself my insulin shot. And if you know anything about the insulin pens, when you dial up the end of the insulin pen, that's what tells you how many milligrams of insulin you put in your body. And I was looking at that pen, and wouldn't you know it, the end of that pen on that dial said 0. For a week, I had been giving myself a shot with no insulin. You see, the God of the universe loved me so much that he came down into my existence to show me that. My grandmother, I used to go over to her house when I was a kid. And what she would do is she would give me brownies. Now, these weren't just any brownies. These were brownies that I could curl up into a ball. I called them brownie balls because the brownies were moist and chocolatey, and I turned them into a ball, and I walked around her house. And walking around her house, I'd eat that brownie ball, and I was the happiest kid in the world. But you know what that was? That wasn't my grandmother giving me something that was eventually going to give me diabetes. No, that was my grandmother showing me her love. And I got to tell you, for those people who are listening to this, if you can learn about that kind of love, if you can learn about the love that God shows us, the love that he showed us through the death on the cross, then that's the kind of love that saves. That's the kind of love that heals. And that's the kind of love that changes the world.
There you go. That's pretty stinking cool, just so you know.
It's not just stinking cool. It's something that allows me to put my personal testimony and the love of God into a broken and restored thread. And how many people out there right now, their lives are broken and need to be restored? Mm-hmm. That's you find that in the auspices of our Lord, in the love that he has and what he gives us. So
yeah, he does.
And by the way, that is not something that I just came up with 5 seconds ago. I've been using that story now for a long time with that effect. If y'all come to one of my virtual shows, I just showed you my closing effect, so you'll see it again and you can try to figure it out again. But that's the close of my show. But it's also the way people can find satisfaction and change in life. So,
all right, very cool. All right, people.
Thank you.
So here's the thing: you got to go over to Stephen's website and get all booked. Okay, wait. So,
Amen.
So what is your? Okay, so magicandbeyond.com. Just look at that thing down there. You can point to it. Just point to it. You're on screen. Go ahead. Point down there.
You can see it, but
You can't. It's just go like this. Wait, you probably can't see me. I can't see me.
I can't.
Just go like that.
I can't see you.
Oh, lift your hands higher.
Okay.
Okay, higher. Okay, then point down like that. Yeah, there you go.
perfect.
Perfect. Okay,
Should
so
if I do this, does that help?
yeah, it does. That's it. Magicandbeyond.com. There you go. All right, there you go. Go there, people. All 5 of you watching the show. go there. All right. And that's it.
Okay.
So, today's Saturday, right? Yeah. So tomorrow is Sunday, I believe. And, yeah. So what I want you to do is come back tomorrow night. I believe Bareface is going to be doing something. I don't know what, but I will be here, of course, to introduce him and to pave the way to his greatness, and biblical power. So, anyway, so you guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you share this out and watch the replay, because there's a lot of good stuff here tonight, just so you know. All right. So as I always say, at the end of all my shows, be bold, people. Stand up and go with God, because he loves you. We'll see you later.